how does this investment generate passive income, and how often would I get paid? Well, every real estate syndication and every fund is structured in a different way. And so generally speaking, though, you are going to get some sort of distribution, whether it be on a monthly, quarterly, or a semi-annual or annual basis, right? Just depending on the asset class and the nature of the investment, as well as some sort of distribution at the end of the cycle, right? So at the disposition, right? So at the end of the business plan, when the property is either refinanced or it is sold, you're generally going to get a large payout at that time after the property is sold. So you're generally going to get small, cash flow distributions, right, throughout the life cycle of the project. And this also is dependent on what the business plan is for the property, because different properties have different business plans. And so there are some value add projects where the first couple of years, there's going to be a big renovation done of the property. And typically during those times, you're going to see very little to no cash flow whatsoever. And then there's a refinance event at that point, a liquidity event. That liquidity event generally returns a good portion of the capital back to the investors. Sometimes it's a full return of capital, which is awesome, right? And then everything after that is just gravy. But a lot of times and more often, you'll see like a partial return of capital to the investors after the renovation period. And then after that, you're going to see monthly, quarterly, regular distributions until, the property is sold or refinanced a second time and the investors are essentially cashed out. The details of all of that should be very explicitly communicated to you, though, via the PPM, the private placement memorandum, as well as, the deck should have a waterfall, right? So you should see like some sort of waterfall structure that shows exactly, what those distribution cycles are going to look like for you.